Hey there, coders. Today we're going to be doing some interview related questions and we're going to try to solve them. Okay, so the first interview question, I'm just going to make sure we have like pseudocode so that everyone could, understand the problem. Our basic objective is to solve that type of problem. The first problem we'll do is we have to check if two words are anagrams, okay? And an anagram would be, a word that if I say silent and then I say listen, so these are anagrams because I could make listen from silent, Listen. So silent and listen are anagrams, and then the other words are not. So we could just make, a function, and we could say is anagram, take in two strings. So what we could do is string str1 and string str2, and what we have to do is we have to return a boolean to indicate that it's true or false, so that's okay. Now what we're going to do in here is we have to first check the lengths of both of the strings. So let me just check the length. So if string1 dot length, if that length is equal or not equal, let's say if it's not equal to string2 dot length, if the lengths are not equal, you already know that it's not an anagram. So what you just do is return false. Now that, some things might not be, according to the programming language, but you don't worry because I'm trying to just give an idea. So just try to take out the lengths. And if it doesn't work, then you could just go there. After that, you could have a standard map. So a hash map. So it's called a standard : unordered map, unordered underscore map, I think. Unordered map, and it takes in int. So basically it takes in a char and an int. So it's gonna take out the frequency for each character. So we could call it as char frequency, FREQ. And what's it gonna do is we're gonna have this loop through. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a for loop that goes from every single char C in the char in the string one. So string one, and what's it gonna do is gonna go and get the counts of each frequency. So frequency FREQ and sub C plus plus. It's gonna increment it with +1. Okay, so this is the first loop. After that, it's gonna check every character from string 2, and it's gonna match if the if the string. So we could say char frequency FREQ dot find if that character belongs to the char frequency dot find C, and char frequency dot end. If it does not exist inside of this frequency, you would just return false, because it should exist. Rest, if it exists, then you decrement it. So char frequency, and then you have the C, and that would be decremented by minus. And if, for instance, char frequency sub C is less than 0, you could actually return false, because it should not include duplicate letters. So suppose if you had the character count of C as, let's say, 1, that is okay. But if when it's going to pass through this minus, it's going to make sure all of them are 0. But if, for instance, it goes -1 or something less, then this would return false, because that's not an anagram case at all. So that's our for loop. And after that, another for loop, which is going to be auto pair from the char frequency. So make sure like it's some kind of range based for loop or something. And you could say if the char frequency dot, so if the pair dot second is not equal to 0, because now every value should be equal to 0. If it's not equal to 0, you could just return false there. Else you could just return true here, somewhere like that. So, essentially you would have all these checks applying, and you would have at the end of all of these checks, if all of them match, you could return true. That's your anagram. So that's basically the solution for the first problem. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the next one. So the next one is the minimum difference. Okay, difference CPP. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is we're going to I'm gonna have these, problem statements also shared with you guys, so yeah, you could also check them out. But hopefully you guys are understanding, and I'm just giving you the idea. So the minimum difference, minimum difference between two numbers in an unsorted list. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a min difference function. It's gonna have an int array or something. So you could just say vector. I'm using vector, and arrays are the same. So let's suppose we have ers, and we have to check if the minimum difference. We have to return the minimum difference, and so we could return it with int. Now, what happens here is you have to make sure that the arrays is sorted. So first, just get the size of the array, so size function, and just put it as int n, and this should be like this equal. After that, sort the array. You have a standard colon sort function, and that should take in the arrays dot begin iterator as well as the arrays dot end iterator, and this should sort everything up. And now after that, we could have a for loop that goes from I is equal to 1, I is less than n, and then we have I plus plus. So where I'm going one step ahead, and I'm going to get the difference here. So I'm going to have the difference of the array sub I minus the array sub I minus 1. So basically the start and the one step behind. And now what we're going to do is we're going to check a condition. If the difference is less than the minimum difference. Now, I didn't create this variable minimum difference, so I'm going to have it created here. So I'm going to create it right after this. Okay, so I'm going to call it int minimum difference, and that should equal to the int maximum number. So that always going to imply that we could have to, get the minimum difference. And if it's less than the minimum difference, your new minimum difference, so minimum difference is equal to the difference like this. Okay, so that's just going to keep incrementing and updating till this for loop runs out. After that, you could just return your minimum difference. So that's just the entire program for this. I hope you got the solution done, and we can move on to the next one. And now we have to find the last one, which is non-repeating. Okay, I'll tell you this one. So this question says non-repeating characters. So we have a let's say string, let's say coding cleverly. And what we have to do is we have to find the first non-repeating character. So how are we going to do this? What we're going to do is we could say non-repeat, okay? Get a function, non-repeating, and let's say we have to return a char to make sure the character, and put in a string over here, string str. And what we're going to do is we're going to have to find the first non-repeating character. So to do this, essentially you would have a standard map again. So standard colon unordered map, map, and it would have came these. It was going to be called as char frequency. And what we could do is we could have a for loop that goes from character C in the string, and it's just going to populate each frequency like so. So like that. After that, we have the first non-repeating character here. So, you're also going alphabetically. So, well, actually, you're not going alphabetically. You're going from character to character. So if the string is coding cleverly, you could see that the first letter is C. And I'm going to make sure these are lowercase, so that everything is lowercase. Or we're gonna have this kind of exception that make sure everything is lowercase. So you can see over here the first letter is C, and it repeats 2 times here. And you have to find the one that is first non-repeating. I think O is the first non-repeating character because it doesn't repeat again, so it should return O. So that's the case here. So I'm gonna have for every C in the string again. So basically there are 2 rounds, first for loop round and the second one. Now I'm going to see if the char frequency of that character, of this character, which is C, is equal to 1. You could just return that char like that. Okay, and if it doesn't, you know, appear or anything, you could just return a backslash, you know, those null terminator characters, so that's single quotes and backslash, and so this is our, I mean backslash 0, and that's the null terminator. Okay, so this is the program for non-repeating characters. So far I'm going to just do these 3, but in the next videos I'm going to solve more and more interview related questions. If you like this video, give it a like. Let me know your thoughts about it. Should I make more videos related to this? And stick around and be a part of the Coding Cleverly gang. Thank you so much. Have a great day.